Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode of How Was Your Day, the podcast. I am your host, Jesse Hartland, and in this podcast, we talk about inspiring stories from inspiring people to, at the end, inspire you, the listener. In today's episode, guys, we are speaking to the CEO of Tradefox. Tradefox is a recycle scrap metal SaaS platform that helps gain, I would say, insight and transparency. It's transparency into buyers and sellers. And in this episode today, Chris kind of shares his journey about where he is today, how he came there to be, his perspective on entrepreneurship, and his mindset in order to get to where he is right now, and ultimately what Tradefox does and why Tradefox is here in the first place, as well as the entire goal of Tradefox. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy this episode, and I would love you guys' support. Always check out the website jesse-hartland.com. Check Chris out on LinkedIn. A link will be in the description. Also check out tradefox.co. Amazing website, beautifully designed. And I would say enjoy this episode, and please leave your comments and feedback in the Q&A section on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts. Without further ado, enjoy this episode. So welcome to How Was Your Day, the podcast. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you. It's great to be on as well.
Awesome. Chris, of course, before we get started, big question. How was your day today?
Yeah, well, quite just a normal day, I would say. So was working mostly today with putting together some groups of investors. We're working on an investment campaign. And today we spent a little bit of just organizing my work for the coming 2 or 3 weeks. Nothing spectacular.
Okay.
It's a little dreary in the cold, and the days are getting short in Amsterdam, but it's always still nice to be here nonetheless.
Good. It's more time to work than I would say.
That's true. It's hard to be distracted by fun stuff out the window when it's like this.
Yeah, indeed, exactly. Now, so it sounds like you're focused on kind of on what you do on a day-to-day basis, and I think it kind of ties into exactly what I try to share to my audience. So then, How Was Your Day is a platform or podcast where we share inspiring stories to people like yourself and also like myself to be able to kind of reach the goals that they're trying to achieve. So it'll be a pleasure, and I'm quite curious. Can you still hear me, Chris?
Oh yes, oh yeah.
Okay. You froze up a little bit, but okay. You can still hear me, right?
Yeah, you're coming through clear.
Okay, good. Then I'm quite curious, Chris. So tell us about yourself. Who is Chris and what is Tradefox?
Well, let's see now. So I guess you could say 25 years in the recycling industry, first of all. I started out in the waste industry in 97. Part of that work was working for factories implementing recycling programs. That got me into recycling, like right at the beginning almost. So you could say I've been recycling for the whole time. I've started several businesses along the way. Most of them half of them were related to the recycling industry, and the other 2 or 3 were not. I started a web company, which was completely unrelated to the recycling industry. It's for the trucking industry in the U.S. It was that experience is what taught me about what's possible with web-based technology. So I learned a lot in those 3 years before I sold that company. And but I've worked in cabinet business. I've worked in setting up we're working on a plan to set up a recycling facility in Georgia. And finally got into import-export side of the recycling business because we're looking for ways to expand and to grow and to do something more something we could really scale out. And that was what got me into, gave you the introduction to the problems that the import-export side of recycling has. And it's an entire industry that I knew nothing about, actually. I didn't realize it was, in those days, it was there was $60 billion in trade globally. Never heard of it. Even if I was in recycling, I didn't really realize it was such a substantial business. Such a substantial market. But anyway, getting into that, I ran a brokering and trading company for almost 7 years. And during that time, I experienced a lot of headaches and problems and ultimately losses due to fraud, in our case, just in general, just bad actors in this space. So kind of reaching back and thinking on the days of my web company, I saw immediately that we could solve these problems. So we started working on applying technology solutions to our industry about 11 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Started a company called Scrap Connection. That was a marketplace. We got really introduced, to the market, like really intimately involved, like working to try to solve the same problem we're solving with Tradefox. Actually, we're trying to solve problems with trust and reliability, lack of transparency in trading reputations of companies. So eventually that led us into starting Tradefox about 6 years ago now. And yeah, that's what I'm doing now. So it's a business that we raised money in 2017 to actually pivot our former business into this new company.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's what I do today. So I'm working with Tradefox just to solve the problems that I dealt with from 1994 forward, basically, with the
Yeah.
whole business.
Okay. Yeah, and I guess those problems are not only, resonate with yourself, but I guess a lot of players within this industry.
It's a massive headache. There's really any professional in the business of global trade in our sector especially, but also a lot of other sectors, but all the recycling people, they all have stories of losses, and
Okay.
and if they've been in business more than 10 years, they've lost, and that's a huge impediment to the growth and the maturity of this very important market for our global ecosystem.
Mm.
So, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
big
Okay.
problem. Everyone knows about it.
Very, very interesting. I mean, I don't know a lot about this industry, so it's quite insightful to kind of get your perspective on it. Okay, no, very clear kind of how TradeFox is, how basically TradeFox came about. Maybe I missed it, but I'm actually very curious. Why did you decide to get into recycling in the first place?
I've studied chemical engineering in college, and I realized that I didn't want to uh, go to work boiling oil and doing all kinds of stuff that normally a chemical engineer does. I kind of had a late college crisis, so I decided I wanted to start a company, and I took a break from college, like my last year really, and I'd always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I never really pursued that dream because I was always told go to school, get a degree, that way you have at least something to fall back on before you do your crazy entrepreneurial thing, whatever. But I'd always followed, like, read books on entrepreneurship, and I even have sold some properties. So I played around with it. So in 90, I said 94 earlier, in 97, sorry, so that's when I started my first company. And I just took a leap of faith, basically, really.
Mm,
I wanted to do something else, and I wanted to go with what my passion was, honestly. I love learning engineering and chemistry and all the stuff. I loved it. It was hard to learn. I love
yeah.
knowing it, better to say. But I wanted to follow my passion, basically. And I've been reading Entrepreneur Magazine a lot, always did. And there was a company that advertised to set up a business in the waste industry, analyzing companies' waste expenses, helping them save money. Nothing about recycling, really. And so I just rolled the dice. Got a friend of mine to put in 25K to help me buy the program. I went and took the courses and the training, and in getting into that business immediately, like right from day one, I learned also in that course that the real money was in implementing recycling programs, because you're taking waste, and then you're taking it from something you're paying to remove and get rid of to a revenue potentially, right? So that's what got me into the recycling space. So really just because I wanted to wanted to start something on my own. I thought sounded cool, and it turned into something more than what I even expected to be.
Yeah, no, that's really nice. And then I guess it's quite rewarding as well if you do see it become sort of successful.
Yeah, it is.
Nice.
I love it. It's an amazing career path, and
Yeah.
it's rewarding and interesting, and I don't know. It's really great thing. Yeah,
Good. No.
I was involved in recycling before recycling was really a cool thing, basically.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
U.S. at
Yeah.
least, in the
Yeah.
Southeast, if it didn't make money, the companies weren't going to implement any kind of recycling program.
Hmm.
Had to make money, so it wasn't even no one was thinking about trying to save the planet in '97, basically.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now
Wow.
it's really cool.
Crazy.
Yeah, right.
Crazy. So then, and then I guess that kind of ties into what TradeFox is, right? And then I guess that's one of your sort of projects. So I'm
Yeah.
curious to hear kind of where currently TradeFox is at this moment in time.
We're, yeah, well, we are at this moment. So, wow, there's a lot there. So, but a kind of a summary here. I mean, we're approaching our seventh year in business. We've run basically the business is built on the back of about 2,200 investors, which we raised money from back in 2016 and into 17 to basically take what was Scrap Connection and turn it into Tradefox. So those investors came from the U.S. Crowdfunding market, so the equity stockholders in the company or
Nice.
people stockholders. So thanks to them, we've been able to build a business and around making a difference in this space and solving a big problem. But that's not been. It never is a. It's never an easy bit of work, and nothing happens anywhere near as fast as you would ever expect, unless you get lucky, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think that we've been up and down a few times. We've kind of we've had some rough times. We've had some breakthroughs and some losses. But I will say that now in the last since really COVID and the following after COVID ended, like we've started an incredible climb. Like it's like now we're in this kind of incredible kind of we've got this product market fit for our company. Everything's growing. We've got acceptance in the industry. It's like all the pieces have just come together and can gel at one time, and it's growing us like so rapidly. So there were a few times where I thought maybe we weren't going to make it,
Yeah.
but now it's nothing. There's no way we can lose anymore. It's just and so we're trying to grow it and move forward as fast as we can. So that's kind of
Nice.
where we're at today.
Do you think that's a little bit of luck that kind of plays in there with all the pieces being put in there, or were there other aspects?
I think the most important thing about any entrepreneurial venture or adventure, depending on how you want to look at it,
Yeah.
to me, it's about persistence. It's about knowing that obviously everybody goes in solving a problem, but ideally they should go and solve a problem that they know and understand. You know, there's going to be so many different reasons why why it may not work immediately, but you have to stay the course, keep basically just persevere. And so luck, there's always luck in business, but you make your own luck as well. So I'm not saying that every breakthrough, I have because, we or my team did something. No, it's not like that. There's some genuine luck, but these things, sometimes these lucky moments come because you're there long enough for that to happen, right?
Mm.
So there's a bit of luck, but I think persistence is the key thing here, is just staying with it and pushing forward, even
Okay.
when everybody else tells you should probably hang it up.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay. So it's a little bit like stubbornness in a sense as well. It's like
It
don't
is,
listen to
yeah,
everyone.
it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Okay, nice, nice. Then I'm actually quite curious as well from the opposite side from you said some moments you weren't really sure if this was gonna kind of go through. Do you have maybe some examples or you want to highlight some stories that you want to share of moments where you were like,
Yeah.
oof, I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is probably the most monumental. It's both the moment, a point where I thought we were going to lose it all, to which has actually become the thing that helps us get traction. So that's probably the most
Okay.
interesting thing to highlight. Um, so yeah, so basically, I think just to set this up to explain the significance of the fear that I had at the moment,
Yeah.
and how bad it was when it's basically the moment in time is COVID. COVID, basically, if you can imagine, it just arrested the entire like global trade system. Like all the people that are our customers, all their shipments are stopped. They're stuck in customs, piling up. Ships are having to stop. I mean, it was a disaster in the beginning, right? And we work in global trade, so every one of our customers like house is on fire, basically, right? There's problems everywhere, but leading up to that and right before that was it March, I think, when this happened. So February or
Hmm.
March, right? Leading up to that, we were on a run. We were early. This has been 2019, right? So this is about like the third year in, and we had our struggles, and we were still having problems getting our essential bit of information, which is the which. So I should say we aggregate information on companies, so we have the trading history and some statistics on the companies and how safe and reliable they are. And in order to assess that, we need to have the feedback or reviews from trading partners on each other. And it was really slow to get that information in the beginning. So going into 2019, though, we started selling subscriptions, and we had a plan, we had a product there, we had built this thing, and I hired a person to work with me to help me with sales, and it literally was like from like say October, November, December, we're just like month over month, just like you had, I don't remember, like 15 new customers one month, and then it was like 30 the next, and 40, and it was just going like crazy. And I thought, okay, this is it. We're taking off,
Yeah.
and we're in our business as well, because we spent so much time and money like getting the product to a point where we could actually bring it to market that we were running out of cash. And so I even cut my development back a lot because I said, look, we need to sell this thing and commercialize it. So things were going really well. We're starting to see the signs that the business was taking off.
Mm-hmm.
Then COVID happened, and then everything stopped. So at that moment in time, I'm a very optimistic person, obviously, and I want to persevere to stick it out. But suddenly, I don't have a path forward. I don't know. There's no strategy. We didn't have a COVID, alternative plan or something. So it
Yeah.
just stopped everything. All of our customers were going through, hell basically, and there's something we're interested in trying to take on a new SaaS product, right? So
Mm.
so that was really, really, really tough. And this first few months, started having lockdowns and such, and then, and I didn't really know clearly what the path forward was going to be. And so, um, I decided that, you know what, listen, after about a month or so of like really worrying, like, okay, what are we going to do now? Because we're running out of cash fast. I need to raise money. How am I going to solve this problem?
Yeah.
I decided that, while we're trying to figure this stuff out, our industry needs help, right? They can't travel. They can't meet each other. All the conferences are canceled, which is the main way that our customers meet each other.
Mm.
So they're just getting introduced to Zoom calls because of COVID. And so I said, let's just set up let's set up a conference online for our people to show them what we've been saying all along. We're here for them, right? We're a part of the
Mm.
industry. We see their problems. We're going to help out. There was no real strategy behind it. There was no like plan, like, hey, if we do this, it's going to be, a big value to the business.
Yeah.
And it was literally just because I thought, I want to do something to help the industry. And this is my industry, and it was fun, basically. It
Mm.
turned out that these few virtual conferences that we hosted online, they ended up like pivoting. I'm not pivoting, but like basically putting us on a path forward like never before. Like it leveled us up to an association status. Basically, we weren't a SaaS product that had a company that was selling reputation reports. Now suddenly everybody saw us as an authority, and as they saw what we're doing, they're coming to the conference and meeting each other. And this was a big breakthrough for us. And they were really happy and appreciative. We were getting more and more like users on the platform from it. But I didn't, we started getting like propositions for partnerships, strategic partnerships with shipping company, pricing service. There's several other documentation service. Because of this variety that we're getting because we're hosting conferences, people pay attention to what we're doing. So this moment where I thought we're going to lose it all, and then honestly just doing something because it's a personal action I feel like a tech company can do to help our industry was recognized, and has been the fundamental like change in our company that has pivoted us to the next level.
Mm.
And it's because of that everything is built on top of that. We got recognition. They trust us now with their private information. They're giving reviews on their trading partners. All the things that we wanted are starting to happen now.
Yeah.
And I've talked to some of the people now, friends, and business contacts in the business after the fact, and I asked them, and they confirmed, that was they really either they were thankful, or they noticed it, or that was the moment when they realized the Tradefox was something special or whatever. So, and it's just never been the same since. So that's
Huh.
that's kind of our conflict. Oh, we're going to
Yeah.
lose this moment to turn to like the best thing that ever happened to us.
Yeah, exactly. There's like two sides to the coin in that sense. So that's very interesting. Do you think, or what type of, I guess, like mindset do you think you needed to kind of change that, okay, let's try something, and just to help our customers, I guess.
That thing, honest, that really just came from the heart, basically, and that really, again, it wasn't even a strategy. I think the
Yeah.
thing that you're kind of also digging at is like, what was the like? How, I mean, because I was not sure how we were going to even go forward from this point, and that was a shock. My business looked like it wasn't. We're going to be able to produce money,
Yeah.
and I think there's some runway left, and I just wanted to stay the course and try to help because everybody was in trouble. And it just kind of like took that move, that thing kind of took care of us. Basically, it wasn't really a
Mm.
strategy. So yeah, I don't have this
Nice.
yet. That's
Yeah.
simply
No, no,
that.
no. It's
It's
yeah.
just the way it happened. It's just how
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is.
Then I guess that luck kind of plays in there just a little bit, or maybe. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. That's yeah, as I've heard somebody say before. Like there are these like lucky moments that you're going to have as in business, but
Mm.
the moment you give up, the moment you quit, like you won't reach that lucky moment.
Yeah.
Lucky moments come when they come. And you need to be there to accept them. If you're not there anymore, and you've already given up, you're not going to get that way.
Makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
clear. Perfect. Then my final question for Tradefox specifically is that through the challenges and the successes and where you guys at now, where is Tradefox, headed to? What's kind of the ultimate goal for Tradefox in your perspective?
You know, I think that's also quite interesting because we started this out as a product to solve problems in trade and to it's simply to help these market participants, the buyers, the sellers, the traders, the importers and exporters, to make sense of a market which is kind of has a lot of risk in it, right? So that's the problem that we're now solving very well now, and it's growing, it's still growing. That's our core product. That's all we really set out to build in the beginning. And so if we do nothing else, that product now is on an organic growth mode. And, of course, with automation
Yeah.
and of course, more business practices, that business will go to its maturity. But
Hmm.
what we found out in this journey is that there are, this industry, well, one of my friends named Shazad runs well, I'll say probably the strongest shipping company in North America. He's one of our strategic partners, Sea Lake. He told me one day, he said, Chris, you're missing something here. And I was like, what is it? He said, you're trying to solve problems for buyers and sellers, but whenever there's a fraud, whenever there's a problem with the trade, there's always a shipping company and there's always a bank in the middle. So these are your customers, and you need to look at the bigger picture. And that moment actually got me thinking, and I realized something that I kind of knew this was an area where we needed to grow, but I didn't realize how clear it was. Like we're moving this business forward to solve problems for shipping companies and banks because actually they really are the ones that are stuck with all the problems.
Mm.
And in doing so, we realized that now the big solution for our business is to implement a system we can bring in finance, affordable finance, into the global trade of recyclables. Would solve a problem for top like 10 banks, I think it is, that have like $7 trillion earmarked for the circular economy. So we
Mm.
can help them bring their money into our sector where it's needed. They get credit for doing something right by the for the circular economy basically. And of course, our customers can benefit greatly from it. So now we're moving and pivoting, expanding the vision into a fintech company. So that's where we're headed with it now. So it's about taking the core product that we have, and because now we have information that banks didn't have before in shipping companies, and allowing banks to access this market and involving shipping companies and moving the freight. So that's
Good.
it's expanded drastically. So that's where we're
Good.
headed.
Yeah. Do you have a plan already set to kind of get there, or is that
Yeah, we're absolutely.
we? Yeah. Good.
I
Probably
mean,
can't share
it's
that.
like any other plan, right? It's like
Yeah.
you know what steps you're going to take, but the thing about these plans are they're changing all the time. But
Oh
we
yeah.
definitely have very clear vision. Also, one of our team members now is working on this task fully. Yeah, we're working fast as possible to get to this next milestone.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
No, that sounds really exciting as well for you guys. Then I just have one last final question for you, Chris, and it's that if anyone that wants to either, well, I guess there's two sides to this question. They either want
Mm.
to become their own entrepreneur or that someone that wants to become in the recycling business. Do you have
Yeah.
any tips or tricks? And maybe let's start with the entrepreneur side
Yeah,
on this one.
sure. Um, I think that people, there's a couple things there. Taking that jump into doing something on your own is a very brave decision to make. It takes a lot of courage. I'm very open to taking on risk and doing stuff that not the normal person would do. But I was working a business selling cars, for like 9 months before I started this business. Even I was nervous to leave that business of unstable income to go do something on my own. You need to just you need to get your stuff together and just jump in it. If you have a desire to do something on your own, you want to build your own business, there's no like I think almost nobody knows really how they're going to do it exactly because you don't know exactly what the problems are going to be. You just got to be willing to jump in something and understand that you'll figure it out as you go. Like there is not really a degree program I think that prepares you for entrepreneurship because you have to know a little bit about almost everything, and you have to be able to quickly learn a lot about what you need to know in the moment. If you are versatile and have that ability to take the kind of gamble and deal with a lot of uncertainty, and you're not risk averse, very important, then you just have to just make that decision and jump into it. And nobody has all the answers, but you'll figure them out as you go. I think that's the most important thing to take with you.
Clear, clear. And then on the recycling industry, do you have any tips for anyone that would like to kind of jump into that?
Wow, it's a really growing business in so many areas, right? There's, the thing is super hot right now,
Yeah.
and it pans. I'm just thinking recycling is a lot of things, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
governmental. It's from an entrepreneurial basis. It could be, products that help with sorting and recycling. I've got a friend of mine that developed AI, vision technology, computer vision technology for sorting, like electronic scrap, for example. So like, there's so many spaces where you can apply it to the physical world. There's probably applications within finance and all kinds of other technology offerings.
Yeah.
So how do you get into it? I think probably the thing is you're probably coming into it because you probably already have some angle or some knowledge or some
Mm-hmm.
path that leads you there. If not, if you just want to learn about the scrap business, just take a job somewhere for a while that seems interesting, and get first-hand exposure, and then take that experience, and then see maybe the ideas come from that. But if
Yeah.
you want to go to the business,
Okay, great. Then, yeah, Chris, from my side, I think that is everything. I just want to say thank you so much for the time.
thank you.
And of
Yeah,
course, your insights were very valuable. So I definitely know that they're quite good for the audience that is listening. If they want to check you out, or if they want to check Tradefox out, what's the best way to get them to see you?
sure. So if of course, your tradefox.co.co, that's our website. We have a investment campaign, which actually also describes a lot. It's for equity crowdfunding, basically. And that's at WeFunder. So WeFunder.com/TradeFox. That's for people that want to, if they want to maybe invest or just look at the picture, see where we're going. We lay out our vision and where we're going to business, the direction we're going to business. And of course, I'm on LinkedIn, and it's Chris Yerbey, Yerbey. So you can definitely add me on LinkedIn. Sure.
Great. Sounds great. Well, Chris, again, yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, we'll looking forward to kind of what people think of this episode as well.
Yeah, yeah, Jesse, thanks a lot. I appreciate the invitation. I'm enjoying it. I'm looking forward to see what the feedback is.